All right, let's jump right in. We're starting this explainer on the very edge of a new millennium, a time just filled with this weird collective anxiety. And we're diving into the novel The First State of Being, which honestly just nails that feeling of a world kind of holding its breath.
And this single thought, this is from our protagonist, a 12-year-old kid named Michael Rosario. And it tells us, well, pretty much everything. See, he's not just worried about the world ending. He's worried about his mom. And right away, you get him. He's a good kid, a caring kid, who's already carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Now, to really get where Michael's head is at, you have to remember what was going on at the time. The Y2K bug, I mean, it sounds kind of silly now, but it was a very real panic. People genuinely thought that when the clocks hit midnight, planes could just fall out of the sky, the power grids might shut down, the whole shebang. This wasn't just some background noise for the story. It was a real, legitimate fear for a lot of people.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the eve of the millennium. Then, things get weird with the boy from nowhere. After that, we uncover a secret from the future, and it all leads up to the moment the impossible becomes real.
Okay, let's dive into that first part. Before we get to all of the crazy stuff, we need to understand Michael's world before it all gets turned upside down. It's a pretty ordinary life, but it's defined by this extraordinary stress of, the end of the world.
I mean, just think about this pressure for a second. It's August 17th, 1999. It's Michael's 12th birthday. This day should be all about him, right? But nope, it's totally overshadowed by this massive doomsday clock. He's not just turning 12, he's counting down the 136 days left until the world might just end.
So this is his reality. Day in and day out, he's living in this small apartment complex in Delaware. His mom's working 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and he's got these very adult worries about being poor, about not being popular. And how does he deal with the Y2K threat? He's secretly stockpiling canned goods under his bed. It's just this perfect picture of a kid who feels responsible for everything, mixed with his deep, simmering anxiety. Okay, so now we get to the moment that changes absolutely everything. Michael's stressful but predictable little world is about to get completely shattered by someone who he just doesn't belong. So this stranger appears and he calls himself Ridge. And right from the get-go, nothing about him adds up. First off, his clothes are bizarre. It's this matching eggshell-colored outfit. Then he asks for the date and then the year. I mean, who asks for the year? That's a huge red flag. He also seems completely mesmerized by a dumpster, which is just weird. And his slang, it's so stilted and off, like he learned it from a textbook. And, it's not just Michael who's getting weird vibes. Mr. Mosley, the building's maintenance man, he's this friendly, trusted guy in Michael's life. He basically says what we're all thinking. His gut tells him something's off, confirming that, yeah, this Ridge kid is a total anomaly. All right, and here's where the story takes a massive pivot. We're leaving behind the everyday teenage worries, and we're jumping straight into some serious science fiction. Because Michael is about to find out the unbelievable truth about why Ridge is so strange. And there it is, the big reveal. After getting pushed for answers by Michael and his babysitter Gibby, Ridge just drops this absolute bombshell. It sounds completely insane. He says, "I'm from the future." And this is the moment, right? This is where everything Michael, and really all of us reading, thought was possible just gets thrown out the window. So, to try and back up this totally incredible claim, Ridge starts explaining the science of his world. And he starts throwing out new words like timeprint. Apparently, that's what people from his time call a specific fixed period in history, like the late 20th century. It's a little thing, but it starts to build this believable logic around what he's saying. Then he actually breaks down the process of how to time travel. And it's not some magic poof, It's laid out like a scientific procedure. Step 1, you get inside something called a Spatial Teleportation Module, or STM. Step 2, you punch in the time print you want to go to. Then you scan your thumb on this little device called an EGG, and that's what kicks off the whole dematerialization thing. It almost makes the impossible sound procedural. But here's the really critical piece of information. Ridge isn't some experienced time tourist. Oh no. He admits the STM is just a prototype, and he was the very first person to ever use it. This wasn't some official mission. He was on a dare from his brother, basically, and he just jumped in.
He literally became the first time traveler in all of human history by accident.
So naturally, Michael and Gibby are skeptical, to say the least. I mean, wouldn't you be? They think he's totally delusional. Ridge knows he needs to come up with some undeniable proof, and that brings us to the story's first real climax.
So Ridge makes this incredibly specific prediction. He doesn't just say something bad will happen. He says there's going to be an earthquake tonight in Turkey. It's going to hit around 8 p.m. their time in Delaware, and the shaking is going to last for exactly 37 seconds. I mean, that's a claim you can't fake. Either it happens exactly like that, or he's just a liar.
You gotta put yourself in Michael's shoes here. He's sitting on this potentially world-altering information from a kid who, let's be honest, seems completely nuts, but the details were so precise. So he spends the rest of the night with his mom, just watching the clock, totally consumed by this terrifying thought. What if he's actually telling the truth? And then it happens. Later that night, the phone rings. It's Gibby. She saw the news. The impossible, the unbelievable. It just became terrifyingly real. Ridge was right.
But this isn't some I told you so moment. It's a flat-out tragedy. The story pulls from real-life headlines. Over 2,000 people were killed, with thousands more missing. And that's what grounds this whole sci-fi story in a very real, very heavy human cost. The knowledge that Ridge had, it wasn't a cool party trick. It was a horrifying burden.
And this is where we get to the central conflict of time travel, isn't it? We see this little piece from a future transcript, a debate where this physicist, Dr. Case Robinson, is arguing that the whole technology should have never been created. And his logic is chillingly simple. Humans are deeply flawed. And if you give flawed, imperfect beings the power to rewrite history, where does that lead? It's this powerful warning about the exact power that Ridge just used.
So that's where we're left. We have Ridge, a reckless kid who on a dare became the first person in history to travel through time. He's already broken what probably be the #1 rule, don't interfere, by sharing details about a catastrophe. He's basically operating in a world with no rules, because the rules haven't even been written yet. He's the reason they will be written. And that leaves us with the big question. What other damage is he going to do before somebody can stop him?